this is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got with the outside, both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taken Anderson! Anderson's up top!
Oh my God! Oh. Big crash! Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled!
Six very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly.
Oh, there we go! Oh no!
That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what?
Carter's tires, what's stopping you?
Have you ever thought about what's stopping you? Carter's Tyres is New Zealand's largest independent tyre dealer. 100% New Zealand owned and operated, they supply tyres to the biggest trucks and to the smallest family wagons. From tractors to racing cars. From the far north to the deepest south, Carter's Tyres fit the right tyres to the right vehicle. They sell 10 brands, not just one or two. And with over 20 years in the business, you can trust their tyres are as reliable as their word.
Carter's tires, what's stopping you?
So, what's stopping you?
All right, good evening everybody. Welcome to our next instalment of our KartSport iRacing events. Great to be back. We've had a 2-week hiatus from being online, and as we said, certainly good to be back. This week, for the next 3 weeks, should we say, bringing a new series supported by Dillon Photography. It's a Auckland-based photographer, does a lot of automotive stuff, deal with him personally with a lot of our downforce events. Fantastic photographer. We'll talk more about Chris as we go along. Tonight, joining me in the commentary box, got my buddy Ari Hutney's joining me for the second night in a row. Welcome back, Ari.
Yeah, g'day. It's good to be back. Last time was too much fun, so I decided to come back and give it another go.
Excellent. No, definitely great to have you back, mate, considering you had some actually real-life experience from being in Monza last week. You haven't been to Nurburgring by any chance, have you?
Unfortunately not. No, it's still one I need to tick off my bucket list.
Excellent.
Maybe sometime in the next couple of years.
Good man. So plenty of time. So, as we said, coming from Nurburgring Grand Prix circuit tonight, still running the GT3 formula. Been very popular over the last couple of weeks and been something that the drivers have decided to stick with through our drivers poll. So, as we said, coming from Nurburgring this evening, very similar format to what we've been running prior. We've got a 20-minute qualifying, which is up and running at the moment. And then we've got a 3-race format, qualifying giving us our grids for race 1. Race 2 is a reverse grid of race 1 results. And then race 3, we've got a random grid order, all 3 races over an 8-lap distance. So, as we said, Ari, Nurburgring, a very iconic racetrack, certainly one that we'd probably both like to get to at some stage. I've certainly watched a lot of Nurburgring crash sequences on YouTube myself, and it's a pretty iconic place, isn't it?
It definitely is. Obviously, it's right in the heart of Germany. Formula One are going back there this year, which will be awesome to watch. But yeah, we're definitely ticking off the sort of the historic traditional tracks, if you like, which is awesome to see, and awesome to see GT3 cars around here with the McLaren, BMW, Mercedes, Audi, and Ferrari. So it's going to be interesting again to see the different advantages all the cars have and the different disadvantages. But it'll be interesting, Tony, to see if the Mercedes is just as popular as what it was in Monza. Have you had any inside information on what cars people have chosen for this race tonight?
Certainly haven't, to be honest. It's been a fairly sort of hectic couple of weeks since we've been away, and I haven't sort of had a chance to catch up with many of the drivers from our previous evenings. So, as you said, it'll be interesting to see what vehicles do pop out. We do know that iRacing is very accurate with the how the cars perform and any differences and idiosyncrasies between the cars. So we'll see what pops up this evening. Personally, I'd like to see a whole field of McLarens and R8, certainly looking after our Giltrap group partner. But we'll see what other vehicles pop out there tonight. So obviously our our usual partners, speaking of those, Giltrap Group, Carter's Tyres, usual KartSport New Zealand partners there, so we thank them for their support. And as we said, Chris Dillon from Dillon Photography, and we'll talk more about Chris as we go, and generously supporting our next 3-week series, and got a really great Trade Me option up for grabs, which will go live in the next couple of weeks, and a really great opportunity for all those racers out there that are looking for maybe a sponsorship shoot or something to really up your portfolio as far as any of your motorsport activities go, or even if you just want to get some photos taken of your pets. Chris is he's very user friendly and very good at what he does. So we're 14 minutes remaining in our 20-minute qualifying here, team. And as we scroll down, a couple of familiar names there popping up in front of the list there. Zane Hills, Nathan Anderson, Nathan Krang, certainly a lot of names that we recognise from their previous events there, Ari, and obviously current karters as well that you will know.
Exactly, yeah, and I see some of those names now have been out on the kart track, Tokoroa, Rotorua, doing their own testing for the upcoming Pro Kart series. That will be in a couple of weeks' time. So I've seen on Facebook Zane Hills has been going round and round, as well as I think that's Backrest, that's Hayden Backrest, Brad Snowden also is racing Formula First, and Nathan Krang I've heard has stepped up to the KZ2 category, so it's going to be interesting to watch all these familiar faces back into a kart again. Obviously some of them did do Gold Star last weekend, but they'll be stepping up into KZ for the Pro Kart series.
Yeah, we've got a very, very busy couple of weeks on the KartSport program, and we'll definitely be talking about that as we go along this evening. Obviously, the WPKA Championship round, the KartSport Palmerston North this week. Got KartSport Manawatu, should I say. And then, as you said, Pro Kart coming up the following week in Tokoroa. So, really big couple of weeks, given Gold Star's just been not long ago in Hastings, and the next coming weeks with WPA Championship round and Pro Tour. So we've got lots going on in the next couple of weeks, and we'll talk more about that. And no doubt you'll be attending one or two of those events as well, there, Ari.
Yeah, it's a fairly busy schedule coming up. I'm racing myself this weekend, and then I'm coaching the weekend following. So. Can't wait. It's always good to be back out of the track, especially when you see other countries that are not as fortunate as us here in New Zealand. So yeah, it's fantastic to be at the track, and especially now getting to past the middle of winter. I was at the track last weekend, and the track temperature got up to around 20 degrees, which was really, really good considering we've been in sort of 10 to 12 degree track temperature recent weekends.
Yeah, that's right. Certainly we're on the tail end of winter, and certainly having some pretty crisp mornings at the moment in Hastings, and no doubt Palmerston and the weekend will be proof of that. So we go back to our leaderboard there. So good to see a young little charger there, Isaac Fletcher, the Tasman Kart supported driver, popped up into P1 there. Some quite tight margins there too, between 1 through to 3 there, so only sort of 3/10 covering those first 3, which is good. Quite a big margin back to Blake Dowdle there, 1.3 seconds. Nathan Anderson obviously had an absolute stellar performance the last couple of weeks ago with our final couple of rounds in our previous Tasman Kart supported series. So looking out for him in his ITM delivered vehicle. Arthur Browen from the Liquid Action stable there. Good to see Arthur up there in P6 so far. And as you said, Braden Snowden, the Whangarei driver there, and just rounding out our top 6 there. I think our order might have changed there quickly. Braden's in P7 there, that's right. So as we see, a couple of familiar names. Aston Phipps there, I think he must be back at the wheel of his simulator this week. Kicked Father Wayne out of the seat, no doubt. I think Aston will be back home now, and so he'll be glued himself firmly in the seat of his own simulator there, and probably getting warmed up for his next outing at an actual KartSport event, no doubt. Simon Burning-Claridge, our steward from Wellington. Good to see Simon doing a good job there in P13, and some usual suspects there, and Zach Blinko I see is floating around there as well too. So be interesting to see our total amount of entries tonight. I'd say we've had a bit of a break, so we should get a pretty good showing, I would say, tonight, Ari.
Yeah, exactly, and it's interesting to see BMW's on top at the moment. So a bit of a change of guard since Monza, but I think looks like there's a good mix of cars out there. There's a Ferrari on screen at the moment with Angus Claassen. But yeah, definitely the top threes obviously within 3.5 tenths, and then obviously we've got 9 tenths back to P4. So I'm sure as the night progresses, everyone gets closer and closer. But I think, as we both know, Tony, it's not about lap times necessarily. It's about actually keeping out of the crashes and making sure you survive the race.
Yes, yeah, very much so. And hey, it certainly does add to the to the spectacle. Certainly for us in the commentary box, if we're getting a couple of decent pile-ups, and certainly some of the chicanes certainly do provide a lot of that stuff where we've got some really high terminal speed areas into a lot of heavy braking zones. So I guarantee that does probably tend to cause a few frustrated drivers sitting in their sims, but it gives us obviously certainly plenty to talk about as well too. So a little over 9 minutes left in our 20-minute qualifying session. As we said, our final positions out of our 20-minute qualifying here. These are going to give us our grids for our first 8-lap race this evening. So it's going to, depending on how much testing people have done this week, we obviously know Travis Smith, who's been running the scenes down there in Dunedin for us, and he's had a couple of practice sessions and that up, and no doubt people have been doing plenty of testing themselves as well too. And no doubt we're going to see the usual spec. The usual drivers up the top of the list there as we follow. Got a nice little Goodyear blimp shop, if you like, following Zach Blinko here. So gives you a really good appreciation of how much hard work sort of iRacing do put into scanning and developing their tracks, don't you, Ari? It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we just go past a roller coaster there. Massive grandstands at this track. Obviously, Mercedes are very strong here, as well as at Hockenheim. German race fans are very much into their motorsport as well as into their automotive industry. So it shows here. The great thing about this track is it is a traditional track, so it's not so wide. There's plenty of corners, and there's not a great amount of runoffs. So it's going to be interesting to see if they work together. Again, turn 1 is also going to be very interesting, as it's sort of a sharp right-hander that drops away on you. So off camber, if you like, and then obviously down here into the sweeping right-hander. So again, I think it's just going to be about keeping out of trouble and seeing if you can work together with someone. But I'm not sure if that's going to happen, Tony.
Yeah, we'll see. We obviously saw, as we got further into our previous 3-week series, the more people, the more driving people did, they got used to the formula. And obviously, we're going to get accidents wherever we go, but certainly the margins did shrink a little bit, and we did find the driving standard certainly did increase. So people are certainly well adapt to the cars that they're using now. No doubt, most people are probably still staying in the same brand that they have been using, so that not as though they're jumping back into an MX-5 or jumping into a Formula car. So they're certainly should be definitely used to the vehicle that they'll be driving, so that you can eliminate that factor out of it. The only factor will be obviously it's a newish track for some people, and I would say by the time hopefully by the time we get to race 2, we should be into a good groove with everyone, and accidents should be at a limit as we see our own Travis Smith getting on the loud pedal a little bit early there. Travis, the old rollers, you don't want to too much throttle when you've got a lot of lock on, so nice and patient on that throttle there, Travis. And he'll be listening to us with his headset on, shaking his head, no doubt, old Travis. And as we see, we've got a chase shot here of Nathan Anderson, who had a fantastic result at Monza previously. And these boys, between him and his brother, have done a really good job with their livery, haven't they? So they're really supporting an actual sponsor which has been involved with their family for a long time, obviously that being an ITM. So really cool to see those guys just not coming out to bash around on a simulator, actually doing justice for their sponsors.
Exactly, and that's it's great to see, and obviously putting the sponsors on Facebook through KartSport New Zealand is awesome, and obviously having the two brothers there racing together and competing against one another. So obviously the family dinner time chat after this or before this would have been interesting. Maybe we can chuck a camera in there and do a bit of a post-race interview with them.
Yeah, certainly that's something that we're going to be looking at doing, obviously. Scott Fountain, just woken up in the UK. He's running our live coverage on SimSpeed TV from that side of things, and also obviously we've got the live timing available as well through that same link, through simspeed.tv. So jump on board there, and as we said, all those would-be Roland Danes and Barry Ryans, all those fathers sitting back there watching their sons or daughters on the simulators. Get that SimSpeed TV up, and you'll have all the live timing, all the sectors available to you, and you can egg your driver on and get right into it as well, and not just sort of sit back and watch. You can actually get involved in tonight's actions. So we've got Zane Hills obviously on P1 at the moment, so very, very small margin. We're only talking 700ths there, and then we've got 4/10ths back to Angus Classens. So Zane Hills, we have spoken to him briefly. He's had a couple of good results. Does do a lot of sim racing in different formulas, and has had a lot of success as well too. So through the iRacing platform and different vehicles and different series, and a lot of well publicised stuff as well from what I've seen. So obviously a very active car. I didn't see him at Blossom. I think he was supposed to be down at Blossom, but didn't see him down there, which was a bit of a shame. The Rotax light racer out of the Urban Performance stable, but no doubt he, as you said, Ari, I think he's been doing a little bit of testing and probably be at the next round of Pro Card, I'm guessing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's definitely a driver who's on the up, really competing now at the pointy end of Rotax Light, which is fantastic to see. And obviously his sim racing, I'm sure, has helped him there. So yeah, it's awesome to see. And yeah, like you said, it's so close at the moment between himself and Isaac Fletcher, and then back to Angus Classens. So it's going to be a good race between those. I think even like top four. We've got Anderson there, who's only going to get quicker and quicker, as we know. We've got the top five within roughly a second. So yeah, it's going to be a fantastic race. And obviously, also to mention about this track, as everyone probably knows, is the extended version. I'm sure you know TC. They've got obviously a 24-hour around there, which must be just ridiculously cool to be a part of, and challenging not only for a driver but for the whole team that would take part in that. And obviously, if you're there, I'm sure you can actually drive around the track, hire a car, and have a go. Not only around the GP track, but around the extended version, which is awesome. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, and certainly from we've known a couple of people that have competed. And when the Nurburgring 24-hour, you were able to bring a production car to the grid and what have you. So a number of Kiwis have competed in that when it was that era, along with the guys like Tim Martin and other people that I work with at Downforce to sit around like an Audi RS3 and RS4s and that style of thing. They obviously the Nurburgring 24 hours now changed a hell of a lot, and it's certainly for a lot of the factory teams and what have you, but certainly was a very accessible event in its day. And as you said, you can literally pay, I think it's your 30 or 40 euros and scan your ticket at the gate, and away you go, and take your rental car out there and have a ball for about probably the best 11 minutes of your life, I would imagine. So it's a pretty crazy place, and as we said, certainly something I'd like to visit at some stage. I am a big fan of a rental car and getting a rental car up on a limiter, so it, one day certainly probably is on the bucket list. We'll see how we go. So, but 1 minute to go there, Ari, and as we said, Zane Hills, so that margin has gone out a little bit, so he's got 1/10 on second place there. Isaac Fletcher was previously on P1, so do you think he can pull it back, or is Zane going to be quite comfortable there?
I think anything's possible. It's only a tenth and a half around such a long track, nearly 2 minute long track here. So to gain that amount of time is not impossible, of course, but it does require a lot of consistency, getting every corner right, and making sure you're bang on your markers, as well as not getting held up in traffic. So we can see Isaac Fletcher here, unfortunately has been held up in traffic with that Ferrari, but we'll see how his sector times is. He can easily make it back up. So yeah, and then obviously Angus Class is still there, half a second back, and then Anderson's within a second now. We've also got the young charger Blake Dowdle, 1.1 seconds back, and then Zach Belinko as well. So it's a great mix of senior drivers and junior cadet and mini rock drivers in the top 10. So some great sort of experience mixed, if you like, there in a competitive racing environment again, via simulator racing.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we do talk about it every week, and but it is a really good point to make. It's I think the KartSport club, if you like, or the KartSport family is one of our biggest clubs at the moment. I think it is going to be discussed quite heavily at conference this year. It is a very viable thing at the moment, but it's we talk about it every week how cool it is. Like a cadet rock or a Vortex mini rock driver can compete against someone which currently races Rotax Light or DD2 or KZ or something like that, which legally can never actually happen. They can never compete against that driver on a kart sport track. So when they can come and do it in this formula, it's really, really cool and quite cool for a little Vortex mini rock driver to be able to go to a club day or a top half or a gold star and say, well, I actually beat that Rotax Light driver or that KZ2 driver last Tuesday evening, So I think it's great for the young kids, and certainly not something I'd want to be going having a crack, because all the Vortex and Cadet Mini Rock drivers would be handing it to me on a plate because I'd be hanging in the fence, no doubt. So
Exactly, 100%, including myself. I actually managed to hop on Christensen during the week. Did a bit of Monza in the Mercedes just to see what it was like the previous weekend, and man, that is so hard. I literally could do one lap and that was it.
Yeah, it's tough stuff. It's tough stuff.
It's really a hard skill.
It certainly gives you good appreciation to someone that can actually do a really, really good job on a sim, and then also when you do see the likes of a lot of stuff that's happened in Europe where they've actually got a sim racer and they've had various competitions where a sim racer's actually managed to win a drive. Don't quote me, I think it was in the factory Nissan team through their endurance program. I think one of their drivers is actually comes from a sim racing background and now a factory Nissan driver in their GDR endurance program. So it shows you how effective it can be. So anyhow, that's our qualifying done and run. And a really great job there by Zane Hills to take that top leader spot. We'll be back very shortly after a couple of ads from our supporters. Back for race 1, 8 laps very shortly, and obviously qualifying done and run. And we'll get all excited for our first race tonight from Nurburgring GT3, their team.
Carter's tires, what's stopping you?
Have you ever thought about what's stopping you? Carter's Tyres is New Zealand's largest independent tyre dealer. 100% New Zealand owned and operated, they supply tyres to the biggest trucks and to the smallest family wagons. From tractors to racing cars. From the far north to the deepest south, Carter's Tyres fit the right tyres to the right vehicle. They sell 10 brands, not just 1 or 2. And with over 20 years in the business, you can trust their tyres are as reliable as their word.
Carter's tires, what's stopping you?
So, what's stopping you?
My name is Stephen Corpenos. I'm a senior web developer here at iRacing, and I work on the beta UI. It's funny because iRacing has been around for 10 years, but we want to keep delivering the best possible user experience to our customers, and we've found that the old UI isn't exactly what we're trying to deliver in 2018. We want to use new features and provide the best possible experience when using the sim. One of the projects that I've been working on is some custom heat racing configuration for hosted races. We've been listening to our customers. Everyone's been asking for custom heat races. Maybe you want to tweak a few things with the preset iRacing configurations. Well, now you can using the beta UI. So once you're at the homepage of the beta UI, you just go to create a race. Then from there you go to your set race options. And you'll notice here under event types, you can actually choose heat racing. First, I'm going to show you how to create a new format from scratch. You can choose the number of entrants. And as you can see, when I made that change, the change was actually reflected on the right side in the graph. Also, you can use the estimated duration at the bottom of the graph when you're changing the length to see what the total duration of your event will be. In addition, you can customize every aspect of the session information, practice, qualifying, heat races, consolations, and of course, the final feature race. Because the beta UI allows us to develop features that are robust and complex, this feature will be exclusively available on the beta UI. Once you've made all of the changes, you can hit save. Say you forgot what you selected. You can always preview it using the preview format button. We are very excited to release the brand new heat racing configuration feature that will be available in Season 3 of iRacing.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Carter's tires, what's stopping you?
Have you ever thought about what's stopping you? Carter's Tyres is New Zealand's largest independent tyre dealer. 100% New Zealand owned and operated, they supply tyres to the biggest trucks and to the smallest family wagons. From tractors to racing cars. From the far north to the deepest south, Carter's Tyres fit the right tyres to the right vehicle. They sell 10 brands, not just one or two. And with over 20 years in the business, you can trust their tyres are as reliable as their word.
Carter's tires, what's stopping you?
So, what's stopping you?
Okay, welcome back there, KartSport family. We've just had qualifying, and now we're all getting geared up for race 1 of the evening. This is the first evening of our 3-round series, proudly supported by Chris Dillon from Dillon Photography. Chris specialises in automotive photography, but also weddings, group shots, in anything related to any low and high end photography. He's fantastic at what he does. We deal with him quite a bit through Downforce and through the Giltrap group. Amazing automotive photographer, got some really trick gear, very creative, and Chris is kindly supporting our next 3-week series, also with a photo shoot up to the value of $1,200, which is going to go on Trade Me in the next couple of weeks. So 8 laps is our distance for race 1 very shortly there, Ari. Rolling start. What are we expecting, buddy?
I can't wait to see all the cars go into turn 1. It's going to be awesome into the Mercedes arena. We'll see what happens, I guess, won't we?
Yeah, that's right. We can never predict these things, can we? So we can try and predict it. We certainly did try and do that 2 weeks ago in Monza, but certainly we were throwing a couple of curveballs there with some of the chicanes. They made it through some, and then others was an absolute disaster. So, but it keeps everyone on our toes. Gives us plenty to keep an eye out for, and obviously gives the spectators. It's like going to Waikaraka Park. You know, people want to go to Speedway and watch accidents. So it's certainly very similar on our KartSport platforms. So, as we said, rolling start for race 1. 8 laps is the distance, and grid positions are determined by our qualifying, which we've just had. 20 minutes was the distance for qualifying. Zane Hills managed to get pole position, only by a very small margin. Good to see Zane back up the top. Very active sim racer, and obviously very active karter as well too. So he'll be starting off the pole, so we can see the field all ready to go there. Rolling start, and 8 laps is the distance here at Nurburgring tonight here. So what were your thoughts? So as far as brands go, how did we go as far as our dominance go there? We had a bit of a mixed bag, didn't we?
We did, but we've got a BMW on pole. If I can see correctly, another BMW on grid 2, followed by a Ferrari and then an Audi. Then we've got a McLaren there. So it looks like there's the first Mercedes is actually way back in 6th place there. So a bit of a change up from Monza, where it was just literally Mercedes dominated. So we've got 2 BMWs on the front row and then a Ferrari. So it's going to be good to see how they go throughout the race, to see what the distance is like on these cars. Obviously, the BMW is suiting more of the corners, as this is a bit more of a tight twisty track than Monza, Tony.
Yeah, that's right. And the R8's synonymous for being a very good handling car as well. It's a very good handling car at Bathurst. From a lot of the boys that I've spoken to that run them at the 12 hour. So as we said, we'll keep an eye on that. Coming up the start-finish line here, they're on the front straight there, Ari. We can see the McLaren's backfiring everywhere. The McLaren 12C, synonymous with its exhaust, and we're away. So green flag.
Here we go.
Heading down to turn 1 there. So we can see it tapers off. So fairly spaced out start. We've got cars going everywhere.
Oh, here we go. Classic start.
Not
Looks
too
like
bad.
We've got 5 away, and the rest are just absolutely in the thick of it.
We had someone sort of in the braking area turn hard right onto the grass. I'm not too sure what they were thinking. I think that maybe their co-driver or Roland Dane in the back seat on the couch must have got the call wrong, and they've got all nervous and turned in too early, thought they were going to miss the corner. So other than that, reasonably clean. We have had much worse than that, I must say. So got a couple of people running the pole line already going a little bit defensive. And so we see obviously Zane Hill's got a really good margin there, the familiar colours of Nathan Anderson. He's running pole line quite early, trying to obviously keep a couple of cars behind him, as we see someone getting into the back one another through the right hander there, Ari. So we'll give them a couple of laps. They'll sort
so
themselves
much for
out.
qualifying. All the effort that's done in qualifying is sometimes just gone out the back window in the first 2 corners. So we're back to a predetermined grid, if you like.
Yeah, that's right. So back to a Gold Star style of grid as we're well accustomed to. So everyone's starting to sort themselves out now as we're getting further into our first lap here. Tyre temperature starting to come up, so obviously we'll start to see a little bit of edge as we see some cars in the weirdest place there as they've come up over the slight rise into the left-hander. So someone's obviously had a moment off the right and taken someone with them. So as we get back into the grandstands here, and someone's turned it on the brake, locked the rear wheels.
I think we're at Waikaraka Park. I think you're right.
I know.
People going off left, right and centre.
So it's only the first race of the night there, guys. Just let some tyre temperature come in nice and relax. So Nathan Anderson's backing the pack up a little bit. So the margin for, which we'll see come up very shortly, for Zane Hills. You can also check that out on SimSpeed TV for those people watching for our live timing. As we're coming up to the tail end of the lap, you see the pit entry there. And so Zane Hill's reasonably comfortable at the moment there, Ari.
Yeah, and a massive lead on the first lap. He's got 3.3 seconds. So that's huge. That's really, really good for him. He gets out of the thick of it. He gets away. He can get into a routine, bit of a rhythm, and hope to get some solid laps together, sort of to get his lead out to probably potentially 5 seconds, and then he can cruise from there on in. So really good job from Zane Hills. Looks like Nathan Anderson's got a bit of work. He's got a bit of an angry pack behind him, so it'll be interesting to see if he can now break away. And we've got major line changes down through that towards the left-hander. It seems like there's going to be a few maybe hot-head drivers there already on lap 2 out of 8. So we'll see how we go.
Yeah, obviously we don't have Craig Baird up in the commentary box, who's our driving standards authority, so there's no limit on how many moves you can do in a straight line by the look of it. So, but we've seen Nathan Anderson quite effective there. He backed them up for the first part of the lap, let the tyre temperature come up. Now he's gapped them a little bit, and he's got his eyes set on Zane Hills. So, as you said, we'll keep a really good eye on that margin and see if he can shrink it down.
Yeah, exactly. It's 3.4 at the moment, so will be interesting to see what the pace is like. And this is where it comes not just about a one-lap pace, but about a race pace. Putting consistent laps in, making sure you don't make any mistakes. And, sometimes it's just like karting it is. Maybe you do maybe 8 laps, so 2/10 slower than your qualifying lap, but overall that's quicker than doing one lap that's super fast, and maybe a couple of laps that's maybe half a second off the pace. So consistency is key here, and we'll see who's the best between Zane and Nathan going forward.
Yeah, it's all about just setting that a pace within your own helmet. Racing your data logger, getting yourself to a point where you can effectively drive the car or the cart at 90%, and you can do it for 8 laps, and it's going to be better than driving 110% for the whole distance in an RE.
That's all right. Do you want some water there, Tony? You're feeling
I'm getting a bit
dry
excited.
throat. Yeah.
I'm getting a bit excited here. God, I think my lentils are coming back up.
Oh no. Yeah. Well, Tony takes a break there and has a bit of some drinks of water. It's also interesting to see we've got Isaac Fletcher there, Zach Blincoast, the young guns there in the top 5, followed by Cameron Freeman, Nathan Crane, our own Travis Smith there, broke in the top 10. So let's keep an eye on him. Chris Cavewood, Mike Muir, Daniel Harvey, and we've got Wayne Phipps, and then our own Stuart Simon there in 13th position. So the field's quite close. It's within 23 seconds, the top 13 there. The top 10's within roughly 20 seconds. And it looks like Zane Hills is pulling away slightly from Nathan Anderson. But we've got Angus Claassen also coming through very quickly. I'll just double check on Tony. Tony, you right there?
Yeah, I'm coming right, team. I'm coming right. I had to rush
That's
my.
good.
It was a late finish at work. I had to rush my dinner down. So
Yeah.
I think I ate too many lentils in me Hello Fresh, but that's all good. I'm back, team. I'm back. How's that sound?
That's magic. Awesome.
Excellent. So it's as you said, Ari, I was listening in. So Zane Hill, so our margin, just a little under 4 seconds. So Nathan has actually shrunk that a little bit, but Angus Claassen is actually going with Nathan as well, along with Zach Blinko. So we actually see him starting to shrink the margin a little bit down. So he's using Nathan as a moving braking target, isn't he? He shrunk that margin down. You can see he's opening the corner up a lot more as well too. So making those straights a lot longer. And
Exactly.
we actually might see a bit of a battle here for second and third, and that actually might help Zane a little bit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they work together. We've got Ollie Workman around in the McLaren MP4. He's back down in 21st position there, so he's a long way back. But yeah, going back to the top 3, yeah, it's going to be really interesting how they work together. Because if they don't, it's just going to be another angry pack like we saw at the beginning of the race, and Zane Hills is sort of going to be... we've got a big move. That's Angus. He's down the inside. And it looks like, fighting for it.
And we're going on with it.
They're definitely not working together, and I'm not sure if that's expected or not, but
It's all go.
again, multiple line changes. It's a good thing we've got Simon on the track rather than off the track, otherwise I think there'll be a few bad sportsmanship flags coming out that start-finish line, or maybe some pushback bumpers at the end of the race there, Tony.
Yeah, that's right. And hey, bloody good move by Angus. So he's going into the fast left. He's dive bombed it in. And nice and clean too. He hasn't run Nathan out of ring. Nathan's actually had a go at the next right-hander, and then he's covered himself for the first couple of laps. So really textbook pass by Angus, and he's actually managed to run a little bit of a gap as well too. So that Ferrari's really got the red eyes on, and or even Nathan might actually be struggling a little bit because we can see he's running a little bit defensive, and you can see that margin's absolutely growing. So, and Nathan's actually dropped back a little bit as well too. I don't think he'd be carrying any damage because I didn't see any contact there. You didn't see anything, Ari?
No, but he might have got a slow down penalty. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yes. Yeah, no, it certainly looks because he drastically had lost a lot of pace out of that Audi, so which is a bit of a shame. So, and it looks all of a sudden that he might be getting back on with it now as well too. So, because that margin certainly did shrink. So, you can certainly see he's got like a very much a Craig Lowndes style to him, hadn't he? There, Nathan. Like he gets the car turned in on the brake. You know, it carries a lot of speed to the apex. Gets the car, you know, really shortens that turning radius down, and then opens the corner up on exit. So we're seeing a lot of different driving styles as well develop as we certainly when we do visit a lot of different tracks as well too. So, but really cool to see the difference between, you know, Nathan's managed to run similar paces. We can see he's making a pass back for third position there, back for fourth position between Isaac Fletcher and himself. And really cool to see how much speed Nathan can actually carry into the turn, but in saying that it might actually be hurting him on exit as well there, Ari.
Yeah, exactly. And also another thing to point out, I've just noticed Isaac Fletcher's got some really nice wheels there. He's gone down to the local tyre shop and he's bolted on a set of fresh magnesium chrome alloys. So that's pretty cool to see out there, Tony. Nice. On the blue BMW there behind Nathan Anderson.
Yeah, he must have called into Carter's tyres, and
exactly.
they've gone through the DTM wheel book by the look of it, and he's got himself a nice bit of chrome deep dish wheels there. So good to see he's supporting our usual partners. So I think that Becker, I think that's actually in the Erebus team colours. I think if I remember, you can see the window banner there. So that's from their endurance program. Normally that I think that would normally belong on a Mercedes, if I remember rightly. So we can see Isaac and Nathan are just sort of, they're not battling anymore. They're trying to peg that gap back to the two guys in front of them, but they just can't make too much of a hole at the moment. We can see Nathan's just getting onto the back of Zach under brakes there, but we can see that's what we talked about before. He's heavy on the brakes, braking and turning to the apex, but then he's actually probably hurting himself a little bit. So we've got some really good onboards here with Isaac Fletcher as we go down the front straight, trying to chase the Audi of Nathan Anderson down. We'll see if he can take some time out of him under brakes, but at the same time, you don't want to be getting in too hot, do you, Ari? You want to take a little bit of time out of them, but still, not carrying too much speed that you can actually hit your marks and get to your apex, can't you?
Yeah, I guess the main thing from what I can see there is consistency around the corners. Obviously, we got Anderson. Anderson's around. He's gone. That's him out.
That's a shame. We've put the commentator's curse on him, haven't we?
Cameron Freeman's through. He's gone all the way back. But that's not what you want to do. And I was just about to say, consistency is key. And we see a replay here, and he's just gone in so deep and just literally lost the rear. And with the aero not active anymore, if you like, the rear's rotated and he's spun onto the grass, and that's really going to cost him. And such a short race today. Again, like our Gold Star Series and the WPK champs coming out, it's all about getting away early, exactly what Zane did, and then managing it from there. So Zane's, he's extended that lead to 6.1 now. So he looks like he's just needs to cruise home. Hopefully he does get involved in the back markers, and he's good for the champagne for Heat 1.
Yeah, that'll be the telling factor, won't it? Any lap markers that might come across the front of Zane Hills, but if he can just chip away, nice clean couple of laps, he should be pretty comfortable. I don't put the commentator's curse too much on him, but yeah, big shame for Nathan Anderson. Maybe that technique that we're talking about, he might have come unstuck. So it looks like he locked the rear brake on turn in and carrying a little bit too much speed in. You will find, even though the R8 is a rear-engine car, if you are going to carry a lot of speed in, certainly in trying to get the car to rotate, the first thing that's going to go is the rear, because obviously, the car doesn't carry a lot of aero, as you said, in a slow speed corner like that, but the front can be quite weighted, and it has just unhooked the rear of Nathan's car. So, and he's dropped down to 6, so he is lucky that the margin, inside that top 10, he hasn't dropped down too far, but P6 for him, which will stick him sort of further to the back for our next reverse grid race too. So, but he might even be able to fight his way back up inside the top 5 there. So little bit short of a lap and a half to go. Nelly, we're on 7 of 8 there, Ari. Zane Hills P1, Angus Klassen did a really good job to get back by Nathan Anderson after those first couple of laps. Nathan ran defensive at the start and obviously dragged them back. So Nathan's going big on the headlights, trying to get into the rear vision mirror of Cameron Freeman, the Invercargill driver. Cameron's been a really solid performer, been a regular competitor at all of our KartSport events, right from probably our first night at lockdown. So really good to see Cameron competing each night, and he's been doing a good job getting a lot of top 10 results as well too. So Nathan Anderson's not being too kind. He's got the headlights flashing. Really good speed through there, and he'll be trying to line a pass up as we see Cameron go defensive in the left-hander. Is that going to cost him? Will he run wide off the right? Nathan might look for a dive bomb, but Cameron's doing a good job. He's got it covered, but still not costing himself too much exit speed there, Ari.
Yeah, it looks like Nathan was trying to cross him over there and set up a pass. As we go down into the last couple of corners, he's doing a late lunge here into the chicane. Oh, didn't quite get him.
No, that's right.
It'll be interesting. It's all about timing, I guess. The same in kart racing. He's gone for it again.
He's keen.
Didn't quite make it. But it's all about timing. I mean, to be honest, he can only pass one car in this next lap. He's going to have to really choose where he does it and make sure that the other person can't get back to him. So it's really great how sim racing replicates racecraft and replicates the real life. He's gone down the inside of turn 1. He's stopped at the apex, and that was a perfect textbook pass there. He's going to come back. Oh, side by side. He didn't quite make it stick. So you can see there, Tony, he stopped at the apex to try and stop an undercut. And it looks like it hasn't worked out for him as he's side by side again. So it's all on. Oh, and that's the
get into the back of him. But that was a really, really good pass by Nathan. He probably was actually a little bit too kind. He's got the car stopped right next to him. Absolutely textbook. We try and teach young drivers, don't overpass the vehicle in front. As we can see, he gets into the back of Cameron. He's right up into the rear bumper of that Mercedes. So Cameron will stay left. He's going to open the gate up, and we'll see as we get down into the right-hander. So he's turned in early, Cameron. Nathan will be looking for the undercut, but Cameron's doing a brilliant job. He's running narrow, but he's not costing himself speed on the exit of the turn. So, generally the Audi, does carry a lot of mid-corner grip and is generally a slightly better handling car than the Mercedes. But Cameron's doing a great job, so he's making it hard enough. He's got to tap and get him to the left.
He's tagged him. And he's slowed down too.
And Nathan's going to readdress. So this final lap by Nathan, he's put a couple of big passes on, but God, they've been really, really courteous, the two of these guys. Really good to see. And to be fair, if it was me at turn 1, I probably would have gotten really, really hot and taken Cameron with me, and we would have been hanging on the fence upside down. So really controlled aggression by these two guys. So Nathan's got the pass done up into the chicane. We're coming up to our last final turn here, Ari. So he's going to run down the right-hand side of the track. Cameron's going to run left. He's going to open the corner up. So they roll the gas in onto the start-finish straight, and a really good clean lap by those last two guys. So really, really cool to see a good last lap battle by those guys. Lots of respect shown, and a good way to finish the race off. But obviously not forgetting our leader and winner, Zane Hills, by a margin of 5.5 seconds by Angus Klassen. Zach Blinko there in P3. Isaac Fletcher, obviously the Tasman Karts supporter driver. Tasman Karts, one of our previous sponsors of our KartSport events. Nathan Anderson, Cameron Freeman, we ran with them on the final lap. Nathan Crang there, the NZ Motorsport driver out of Auckland there, P7. Daniel Harvey, the Dunedin driver. Mike Muir, P9. Aston Phipps there doing a good job in P10. Blake Dowdle, 11, our own Travis Smith. Don't think he had any spins at that one. We didn't see any footage of it. So Travis had a nice clean race. Leo Scott, Liam Matheson, Oscar Goldfinch, and Gavin Barber rounding out our top sort of 13, 14 there. So what a race there. That was fantastic. Some good battles there, Ari. A couple of accidents. We see those as we go. But all in all, there was a few line changes, but some really good racing. What an Ari. Good race to kick the evening off with.
Yeah, you're exactly right there, Tony. And what a track to do it on. This track obviously makes some fantastic racing, great passing, and obviously it is a great track in terms of all the corners link up, so you can set up a pass from a couple of corners back and get it done. But it was great to watch Nick Anderson try and come back through Cameron. And so yeah, can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, that last lap was, if the last lap is anything to go by, bring on race 2. And talking about race 2, we'll be back very shortly with that. 8 laps is the distance, 4 reverse grid. Really looking forward to this one. We'll see you shortly.
Assist to the front bumper, and he hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's going to pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's going to get them all done with. What amazing!
Lee to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is going to touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Cronkite goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's Howling down to the inside.
I'm trying this contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact. He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
All right, welcome back there, team. We're just off the back of, obviously, our first night of the evening. For those of you that are just joining us, this is our first night of our 3-week series. We've had a 2-week hiatus. Certainly good to be back. And the next 3 weeks kindly supported by Chris Dillon from Dillon Photography, automotive and anything photographer really, but really specialises in automotive and motorsport styled photo shoots. Absolutely fantastic, really talented guy, and it's really cool to have Chris supporting us for the next 3 weeks. And we'll talk more about Chris as we go along. We're going to have a trade me ad up in the next couple of weeks of a photo shoot to the value of $1,200. So we really thank Chris for his support of that. So, but as we said, Ari, off the back of race 1 tonight, we're now into race 2, 8 laps of the distance, full reverse grid. How good was that first race, mate?
Oh, it was fantastic. I mean, the first lap was crazy, and then the last couple of laps was such a good fight between those top 2 cars, or top 4 and 5 cars. So yeah, I mean, you can't wait for this one. Reverse grid. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, as we said, for those just joining us, obviously GT3 is the formula that we're running and coming from the Nurburgring Grand Prix circuit. So we can see our sim race conditions there. Nice clear skies in Germany today, 18 degrees and very little wind. So absolutely perfect conditions for racing here this evening. So rolling start for the team tonight as they just come down to the last corner here, and that's going to bring them up onto the start-finish straight. Feel a little bit spread out, probably not a bad thing. They're going to get down into the very deep cambered hairpin, the turn 1 here at Nurburgring. Can provide some really exciting passing opportunities, and we had a couple of people get a bit excited and drop some wheels off at the first one. So we're green, away we go, Ari, heading down towards turn 1. As you see, they'll funnel down into the hairpin. We can see Ollie Workman there in second place at the moment. So far so good. People get the car stopped.
Someone's already wide.
Just running wide there. That's probably the best that we've had so far. So far so good, Ari. This is absolutely astonishing. This is certainly what we didn't expect.
Looked like a fairly fast start. I mean, they're all pretty spread out going into turn 1 there. So obviously everyone... Oh, no. Here we go.
Too soon. Spoken too soon.
Turn 3. Someone's at the fence. So we've got all the fast guys down the back. So I don't think the action's going to slow down. I think it's going to ramp up as we go throughout the 8 laps as we see the faster boys move through the pack. But it looks like we've got Braden Snowden there in second. We've got one of the Backrus boys there in P1 with a 3-second lead, so that's pretty healthy. Chris Cayford, Aaron Black, Wayne Phipps. That's probably Aston Phipps, I should say. So the top 5 within 5 seconds, and again, we've got people into this gravel trap.
Yeah, that's right. That looks like, not sure who that was, but it looked like a reasonably legitimate pass, but someone's just turned down. Not too sure who the yellow and black car there is, but they've done a really good pass, but it looks like they sort of got turned down on, which is a bit of a shame. So first lap, everyone just needs to take their time a little bit, as we can see, that cold tyre effect that we talk about. Just it's almost worth maybe just drop 1 or 2 positions, give yourself a bit of a gap and try and stay out of any drama. As we can see, half a pass going on there that's a really brave pass through the tight right-hander on the fast right-hander on cold tyres. Certainly not something I'll be wanting to do at this early stage in the race. So we're on board here. Arthur Brown, Liquid Action Supporter Drive, one of our previous sponsors as well, actually sponsored an 8-week program here of the KartSport event. So really thank the Brown family and the Liquid Action group there for supporting, and obviously still supporting it with Arthur running as well too. So obviously we had a brief shot there of Aston Phipps. So we're about to tick off our first lap here, Ari, so we can still see multiple line movements as they get down to the hairpin.
Where's everyone? Oh, we've got a big move by Anderson down the inside. Tags the rear of the Mercedes. Oh, sorry, the BMW.
Just got the right rear guard, didn't they? But they've got away with that.
Yeah.
And so it's exactly like you said. So we'll keep an eye on those fast ones. So Nathan Anderson already P10, Zane Hill's P8. So they're our 2 fast movers at the moment. So we'll be keeping an eye on them. So Oscar Goldfinch currently in P7. He's got Zane Hills behind him. So this is the battle that we want. So we'll see Zane Hills there in the yellow, black, and silver liveried vehicle there. So Zane Hill's won convincingly. So you can see a really experienced sim racer here in the form of Zane Hills as he chases down Oscar Goldfinch. So you can
good
see
under brakes. So good under brakes. And
gets
he's
the
got down
car
the
turned
inside.
in. That's right. Just got into the right rear panel of Oscar there. Other than that, reasonably clean pass. Gets the job done. Oscar doesn't try and battle back at him too much. He knows it's actually probably better to try and follow Zane. He'll probably actually be more conducive to learning a little bit if he jumped in behind him. He'll be able to pick up on some different turning points where he needs to be braking and what have you. And but we've got a really interesting pack here, sort of as we chase obviously down the 11 of Isaac Fletcher. He was a top performer in the previous one. This is the group of cars that we want to keep an eye on them and follow their progress as they make their way through the traffic there, Ari.
Exactly, and we'll see the line changes. We'll also see a bit of the disco flashing lights appearing, I think, as the drivers get a bit impatient behind the other drivers. But it looks like we've got Nathan Anderson down the inside of the final corner. Solid pass there, nice and clean, all the way on the apex, and he's going to have a clean.
Nathan Crane.
No, it's all gone off behind him.
So
and this is what I mean about just keeping out of the carnage and just having a clean race. And if you manage to do that, you'll be almost guaranteed in the top 10.
Yeah, that's right. And I think Oscar was doing a really good job there, just driving his own line. And obviously Nathan had done a really good pass on him to get by him, and I think that might have been Nathan Crane that did quite a late dive. And obviously with the iRacing platform, for those of you who don't use it, you can't have an outside view in the car. You're actually, it's, as we said, it's simulated that you're driving from inside the car. So sometimes vision can be a little bit hard for people. I think Nathan's put quite a late move on there, got halfway, and so probably has only just got it past the B pillar, and Oscar may have not seen him and turned in and coincidentally got turned around. So shame for Oscar, he was doing a really good job. He probably could have tacked on the back of these guys and followed them up through the field, but in the meantime Zane Hills now P7, Nathan Anderson, Isaac Fletcher, Angus Classen, Cameron Freeman. So that's actually our group roughly in the order that they finished the first race in areas. They're making their way through the field in that similar train they had in the first one.
Yeah, exactly, and it looks like they're racing nice and clean now. Wow, I shouldn't speak too soon.
Yeah.
As we've got a lunge down the inside here. Nice. Oh, perfect. That was really nice. And that's Zane Hills there, making his way through the field. He's now into 6th position from the back, so really solid 3 laps for him, and he's only 11 seconds off the lead. But yeah, hopefully these guys, they all get into the groove now, understand the track, understand where they can pass cleanly, and get through without causing any crashes. And Zane Hill down the inside again here. Oh no, that's not Zane Hills. That looks like a teammate of his. So we've got a team forming up, working together.
As we see the get, so that's actually so that's Zane Hill. So that's Arthur Browen.
Okay, so they've got the Rush sim racing team going on. They're working together nicely here.
Yeah, that's right. So it'd be good for Arthur to obviously tack on the back of Zane Hills here. And as you see, he's actually had a go at Zane down into turn 1. So
no team orders.
He's not scared. He's not scared. So they'll be they're trying to make their way through the field, but at the same time, obviously have their own race going as well too. So, but yeah, Arthur's really got the bit between the teeth, and he's actually put a decent pass on Zane. He's actually gapped him a little bit as well too. So that's a fantastic effort. So actually, no, if I got that wrong, so Zane Hill's P5 at the moment. And so that's Callum Pratt. Sorry, their team. So I sort of I was getting my drivers mixed up there. So there's so much going on. So but we'll see. Obviously Zane Hill's up into P5 now. So chasing none of these. So we see Aston Phipps doing a good job there. P3. Braden Snowden there. As we said, the Whangarei driver. He had a P2 there. Chester Baccaris. He's only got a very small margin. In P1 at the moment, so we've got Aaron Black there that we're chasing at the moment as they drop a wheel off through the big fast left-right complex there, Ari.
Oh, into the fence again.
So someone's got reverse spun as we've come off the right-hander.
The wing's got a bit of offset there again.
So that's Arthur Brown there on the Rockstar energy drink. So touching on the damage, so obviously we do have damage on the vehicles tonight. You can get 3 fast repairs. But sometimes you've got to weigh up, is it actually worth it, given how much damage the car has got, if it's actually going to cost you any speed at that time. So here's our leaders. So Chester Baccaris P1, Braden Snowden P2. So that margin was 1 second. So they must have had an issue there in P1, and then Braden's actually managed to get down the inside of him and make it up into P1. So we'll see what these boys do, if they're going to push on and try and maintain that gap that they've got from Aston Phipps, but a massive move down there into turn 1. So here's Zane Hills. So he's really making his way through the field now and really stamping his authority, and I'd say it wouldn't be too long till he's probably back up into that P1 position there, Ari.
Exactly, and he was 11 seconds off the lead, I think a lap ago, and he's passing, and he's only 8 seconds off the lead now, so he's got some serious pace on board that BMW there, and I'm sure he's going to be on the back of Baccaris and Snowden very, very soon. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does, how he picks his passes, and how he hopefully has clean passes to then shoot off into the distance. But we'll keep a keen eye on him and see how he moves through the field.
Yeah, as we said, very experienced sim racer is Zane Hills. Very experienced KartSport racer as well too. So does a lot of time on the sim, and as we said, races in various iRacing events. Not only this one, but a lot of other high-profile iRacing events. So, and that experience really coming to the fore tonight with him. Obviously, running the first race and carving a pretty sharp line as he makes his way through the field. So Nathan Anderson, obviously there P5. He's certainly sort of been following him. They've been making pass for pass, those two. So we see Isaac Fletcher, nice big move as he gets under Callum Pratt, who's the other Rush simulated supported driver there tonight. So Callum Pratt in P8 there, and then Arthur Bryan is the next driver down there in the P9 position. So Callum's certainly not giving any length to Isaac there. He's trying to chase him back. Remember, these guys are all racing for themselves. It's full reverse grid, and this isn't where these guys qualified. This is obviously a reverse grid of our race 1 finishes there, Ari. So if we go back up to our margin there, so Zane Hills still in P3, 7 seconds off our leader with 2 laps to go. Do we think he can do it?
Well, place your bets now. But I definitely think, look, he's just gained another 3 tenths just when you were speaking there, Tony. Interesting enough, we're talking about manufacturers, it definitely looks like BMW seems to be the more dominant car this tonight compared to the Mercedes from the other night. Interesting to see that. Obviously, they look like they're better over the distance. As we know, the Mercedes is strong in a straight line, but can wear its front tyres out. But everyone's gone through the BMW, and it looks like it seems to be the right choice. And Zane Hills now is like 5.8 behind the leader, so it's only a matter of time. And it's going to be interesting to see if he gets through cleanly or maybe has a bit of a battle like we had in race 1.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, really good points you make about the BMW. Certainly, obviously, a good balance with reasonable power, but the car's got a good handling balance and seems to be doing everything really, really well. Where the legs that the Mercedes had certainly not giving it that advantage this week, and certainly very hard on front tyres, as we said, the Mercedes. So certainly not something that's going to help them here. So there's a massive moment coming off the right-hander.
That's the second crash we've seen there.
So that's Daniel Harvey. So sometimes you just got to lift a little bit there, team. You are allowed to back off. Remember, if you do start to have a moment, you don't have to keep it 100% throttle. So that's and our standard wing damage that we've seen coming off that right-hander, it's certainly claimed a few this evening, hasn't. So looking at our margins, so we're 3.3 seconds for Zane Hills to the lead. Chester Baccaris, 1 second there, and then obviously our leader there, Braden Snowden from Whangarei there. So he's just stretched his leader out off his lead from P2, and then Zane Hills there still in P3. So we can see on board here we've got so I think we're on board here with Zane Hills as he's trying to chase down. So we can see a visual on our 2 leaders here. So how good's this footage? We can actually physically see this this gap changing as we sort of count these laps down here. So 7 of 8, and Zane Hills hit a little bit of all. We can see 2.8 is the margin now, and I'd say as we get down to these last couple of corners, you can really see Zane pulling some time out of them, can't you, Ari?
Exactly, and like for anyone who wants to improve on sim racing, this is a fantastic view of our fastest driver here tonight. He's doing everything right, hitting his brake markers on his apexes, and letting the car flow out exactly like you would in a KartSport race. Nice and consistent, not over driving, but just making sure that he's banging out the lap times. And look, I mean, the two cars in front, they're just getting closer and closer, like they're standing still. So again, it's only a matter of time. But just the consistency from Zane is crazy. Like I've had to go myself, and no way could I do this. What he's doing now. So the concentration that must be going on in that head right now is next level. And he'll be looking to see the strengths and weaknesses of the two cars in front, and to see where he can make a clean pass. But again, under brakes, that's just magic there, Tony.
Yeah, you can see he certainly made a really good advantage on those boys into the left and right chicane. As he has a big lunge from way back, and obviously that was the last corner as well too. So he might have got a little bit eager. I think he probably could have waited a little bit. Obviously, we're about to get into our final lap now, so he knows time's counting down. He's only got a little under 2 minutes to try and get back underneath these guys. But I would say it's half a move again. So he just needs to try and be a little bit closer to try and get under the brakes a little bit. And I think his pass is going to be a little bit easier next time, because he's trying to actually climb a lot of car lengths out of them. So once again, half a move. He gets his nose cut off this time. And he actually might have a little bit more of a battle on his hand to get by these boys than we thought, Ari.
Exactly, and it looks like a bit of a deja vu from race 1, which is fantastic. We've got the Russian Racing Mercedes, BMW I should say, versus the Mod 7 inspired livery of the other BMW. But it looks like Braden Snowden might be clear here. If either one of the two boys in the Backrest car can hold him up, then looks like Braden's going to have a clean race home.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job there in second. So just slowing and just trying to make that car down.
Here we go.
He gets reverse spun. So they get reverse spun as they get into the S's there. So he's moved across to defend a little bit, and Zane obviously felt he had a bit of an overlap. He was just inside him, and he's managed to reverse spin him. So, and as we see, obviously, in the meantime, he's managed to rip a heap of time out of Braden and get into the lead with only a couple of corners to go. So, but Braden's a battler. Like if he can hang by him, he'll certainly have a go coming up to the last corner, no doubt. So as we look back through the field, so Nathan Anderson's managed to make himself up into P3 as young Backrest obviously picks up the pieces and retains sort of P4 at the moment. So big shame for him. As we see, so Braden's actually had a go. This is what we said was going to happen. So down into the last corner, Braden Snowden's had a go as they have the run up to the start-finish line. Braden Snowden's our leader, but it looks like Zane Hills has just got by him down to the finish line. So we did pick it. We did pick it, didn't we? That Braden was going to have a go, and he did. And fair play to him, but then obviously would have cost him exit speed. So here we got the motor simulation replay. So down, it was actually into the chicane he's had a go, and really clean racing by both those boys. They've actually given each other room, and as you said, down to the last turn there. So Braden's probably outbraked himself a little bit. Could have used a little bit more track on the left-hand side, opened the corner up a little bit, and he's been far too kind there, and obviously given Zane more track to work with, and that's been able to Zane to get on the throw a little bit earlier. So what a finish. That's two fantastic races in a row. And then as we see our own Travis Smith just finishing off, so Zach Blinko, so 13th and 14th respected for these two boys here. Looks like Travis Smith, most of the panels are still hanging off his car, which is unlike Travis from our previous performances. We've got a couple of cars, so are they going to make a couple of positions up the last couple of corners?
Looks like a couple of those cars are taking the long track just for a bit of a...
Yeah, that's right. Looks like it, doesn't it? Yeah, that's right. So finishing off, so Zane Hills P1, Braden Snowden P2, Nathan Anderson made his way from the back of the grid to P3. Really good performance there by Aston Phipps in P4. Isaac Fletcher, the Tasman Karts driver there, P5. Young Backrest there, real shame for him running in P2. He finished up in P6. So a really, really action-packed Race 2, the RE4 reverse grid, 8 laps was the distance. We'll be back very shortly for our Dillon photography. Race 3, random grid draws, 8 laps coming up very shortly. See you shortly, team.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now.
He's got traction, he's got with the outside, both of them! Maloney!
Oh, he's taking Anderson. Anderson's up top.
Oh my God!
Big crash. Oh my goodness, half the field's going to get rolled.
Six very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, there we go. Oh no! That's massive! This is it! This is over! I can't believe this! Oh my God!
God, what? Carter's tires. What's stopping you?
Have you ever thought about what's stopping you? Carter's Tyres is New Zealand's largest independent tyre dealer. 100% New Zealand owned and operated, they supply tyres to the biggest trucks and to the smallest family wagons. From tractors to racing cars. From the far north to the deepest south, Carter's Tyres fit the right tyres to the right vehicle. They sell 10 brands, not just one or two. And with over 20 years in the business, you can trust their tyres are as reliable as their word.
Carter's tires. What's stopping you?
So, what's stopping you?
All right, welcome back there, team. So just off the back end of our full reverse grid for race 2 into our final event for the evening. So race 3, 8 laps is the distance, random grid draws. So this is right up our alley in Ari. This is fresh from Gold Star from a couple of weeks ago in Hastings. Got the Gold Star Championship round and coming up this weekend. So we're all about the random grids at the moment, aren't we?
Yeah, I can't wait. Gold Star this weekend's going to be awesome. Another great event at KartSport Manor 2. Sponsored by Manor 2 Toyota and TRC Toyota. So yeah, I can't wait. I'm racing myself, so I've been trying to get fit for it. It's a one-off event, racing on both days. If you're around the area, I highly recommend coming to watch. It's always a good event because everyone's done the series, the pressure's off. So you go into the event, clear head, and see how you go. And it's also the last round of the Vortex Rock Cup, which is reward. There's sort of qualifying tickets on the line there for people to go race in this league. So yeah, that's also going to be great to watch.
Yeah, it should be a great weekend on the back end of 180 karts at Hastings, and I think from what I'd heard, I think sort of 160 entries type of thing for this week. Don't quote me on that, but I did hear some good numbers. So, righty ho. So here we go into, as we come at the start finish line, obviously rolling start to the norm for us. Down into turn 1, so we'll see how the start goes this time. A little bit spread out, actually probably a little bit more banked up on those first couple of rows. And
It's a bit slower this time.
A little bit slower, so I would say we're going to see some carnage. I can see it already, Ari. We're like 4 or 5 cars wide. Someone's reverse spun. Someone's doing their best impersonation of an early Le Mans car, getting heaps of air underneath them. So, yeah, and there's a fair amount of cars parked at the exit, so they actually just need to back down pit lane and they can get in for a fast repair. So, no expense spared on the accidents for our final race of the evening there, team. So as we said, random grids will let themselves sort themselves out. Obviously, everyone's carrying sort of a few different liveries that we're not used to. So Zane Hills is in the lead already. He's our race 1 and 2 winner. Braden Snowden there, P2. He's fresh off the back of second position in our previous race. Arthur Brown there currently in P3. So this results board's going to go up and down like a yo-yo for the first couple of laps as people sort themselves out. As the tyre temperature comes up, they get themselves into a comfortable position. But so far this evening, fairly dominant performance by Zane Hills and Ari.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's sort of the class of the field this weekend. And so fast, like we saw in the previous race, the onboard of him catching down the leaders. Within a lap and a half, he gained, like 5 seconds, which is crazy. But obviously good on him. He obviously spends a lot of time in the simulator, which is fantastic, and I'm sure it's going to help him in the up-and-coming events such as Pro Kart in a couple of weekends' time. Yeah,
that's right. And yeah, we did hear previously from our previous Tasman Kart supported events that a lot of the young guys that had been driving in the KartSport events certainly found that they were making certainly big gains when they actually got back to the kart track. So that's really promising to hear. That it's not just a game; it's certainly something that is beneficial in some forms. So that's sorry, carry on, Ari.
All you need to do is talk to my flatmate Christian, and
yeah,
it's definitely more than a game.
Yeah, that's right. And he's, I think he's spending his evening going sideways, doing some sprint car stuff tonight, isn't he, or something?
That's right.
It's down to turn 1, 3 wide, into our second lap. So I think was that Isaac Fletcher has managed to get into the back of one of the cars. I think that was Isaac Fletcher in the Erebus liveried car there. So, but yeah, Isaac Fletcher, and so he's actually either got a slowdown penalty, I'd say there, Ari, is he?
Yeah, it looks like he got into the back of Cameron Freeman there. Again, another pushback penalty.
Yeah, so coming thick and fast.
But I mean, Zane Hills, he's out in front. I don't think he's going to be touched or race. But we've definitely got a good mid-pack here. We've got Cameron Freeman, Isaac Fletcher, who's super fast. One of the two Baccaris brothers who was in the top 2 and unfortunately had a crash. The Mod 7 Spied livery. So yeah, it's going to be such a great bunch. There's 3 seconds covering 8 down to 12. So let's watch this.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, very, very small margins at the moment, isn't it? So we'll sort of go from obviously P20, P24 on our leaderboard on the left-hand side there. So you can see a couple of names sort of scattered through there. our own Travis Smith there. In P18, he was just saying off air how hard done by he's been tonight, and he's been driven into and this and that, and he was a standard race driver when the He was playing everyone else but himself. So Travis says he's had a nightmare in the saddle tonight, hasn't he?
I saw him walk into the protest room after this, so we'll watch and see if there's a couple of blue slips that come out.
Yeah, that's right. So Travis working hard down there in P18. And, we've got people scattered through the field who have been really, really top performers. So this is our random grid. So as we see Nathan Anderson getting his nose cut off a little bit there. So Nathan Crane going defensive straight away. That's hurt his exit as we come up onto the pit straight as we're going to do our long run down into turn one. Really heavy braking zone. So we can see he's going hard right. So we're not sure how legit that is, but Nathan Anderson still managed to get the car stopped. And so that's a really, really good move by Nathan. Nice and clean as he was getting funneled hard down into turn one, but managed to avoid any contact by Nathan Crane there. So Nathan Crane, 3 laps in, had the elbows completely stretched. I think he felt he was at the Stock Car Teams Champs at Palmy there for a second. And as we jump back on board with Cameron Freeman, so he's managed to gather himself back up after Isaac Fletcher and him came together earlier on. So tide temperatures back up. They're starting to get back into their work now. And 3 laps in, and as we mentioned, Zane Hill's got that gap out to a little over 4 seconds now there, Ari, so as we predicted.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like Cameron Freeman's there in a bit of a gag of BMWs as one goes down the inside there, manages to hold around the outside. That's Isaac Fletcher there fighting with Cameron Freeman. Isaac Fletcher's got the mags on from Carter's Tyre Service tonight. Good to see.
That's right.
But looks like Cameron Freeman's sort of a lone wolf in a gaggle of BMWs, so it'll be interesting to see how his car responds to the corners and then down the straight. So here we go around, now coming to the last sector of the Nurburgring GP circuit today. And we've got a slow car down the side. We go too wide. What's going to happen here?
And that certainly looked like it had hurt Cameron's exit speed. So Cameron's been hung out to dry as they go 3 wide. So Cameron right out onto the apron. That's actually going to help him because he's on the inside as we head down to the left-right. But he's going to give each other plenty of room there. So obviously Cameron from there, we've got Blake Dowdle on the inside. So Blake's a really, really experienced sim racer as well. I think he's running the Mad Mike-inspired sort of Red Bull black and white livery on that car of his. So down onto the start-finish line. We're running 2 wide, so the guys on the inside wouldn't have got anywhere near as good a drive as what they would have on the outside. So down into turn 1, the real sharp hairpin. We know it's provided heaps of excitement so far. So Cameron Freeman's on the inside. Blake Dowdle's gone to the outside, so Isaac Fletcher might be the beneficiary of that, but as we see, Blake's still got a good drive off there. So how good has the racing been into turn 1 as Isaac Fletcher drops a wheel off and gets hung out to drive through the left-hander there, Ari.
Yeah, it looks like Blake Dowdle's getting amongst it. We haven't seen much of him tonight, but it's good to see him up there in the bunch now. Then also, I mean, Blake is such a good, talented mini rock driver, and he's going to be one to watch this weekend at the WPKA Champs round as well. It's his home track, so he's definitely one of the favourites for Projects Mini Rock, and obviously he's proving that he's ready to go racing this weekend on KartSport ice and racing. Yeah,
that's right. He's got the bit between the teeth. And but we can now see that Cameron Freeman's managed to get a little bit of a gap on him after they had a little bit of a ding-dong battle there. So if we jump on board with Isaac Fletcher, so he's got the perfect view of what we've got going on in front of us. So the number 23 mobile of young driver of young Baccaris out of Auckland there in 8th position, just in front. So half a move. He's had a real late lunch on Blake Dowdle there. Blake was none the wider. He was actually on the turn-in. And 2 wheels as well. That's right. And Chester Baccaris managed to get into the B pillar of young that's a big shame for Blake because now he's dropped back a little bit. So he's just in behind Isaac. So Isaac Fletcher's right down the inside and
Blake's around.
Up into the chicane, and Blake's lap has turned from bad into worse. So big shame for him. He's going to regather himself. And so we're 5 laps in. So
that Baccaris car is looking fairly second-hand there, Tony.
Yeah,
the
that's
wings
right.
up on the left, the front panel's scrunched in. So he's going to be coming. There you can see it. There's a bit of toe out there as well. He's got the DAS activated there down the long straight.
Yeah, that's right. And he's managed to actually outbrake himself into turn 1, and then shut down Isaac Fletcher very quickly as well too. So yeah, I think he's hit everything but the ambulance there in the back of his BMW Z4 there. So, but still doesn't manage to be hurting himself through the slower sections on the circuit. He's opening the corners up nice. He's got some really nice lines there, but certainly you probably find that aero is going to be hurt a little bit in the straight line stuff. So as we can see, Isaac Fletcher just window shopping at the moment, just hunting around that rear bumper of the Mold 7 livery BMW there. So I'd say we're not too far away from a pass. I'd say Isaac's going to bomb it down the inside here very shortly, and then try and concentrate on, as we said, nice move there.
He's coming back.
But he's managed to run outside into the apron, but don't discount him. So obviously there's plenty of panel damage on there, and he's not scared of putting it on the hole. So, but as we can see, he's actually used a little bit too much curb going through the right, and that's hurt his exit speed as we get down into the left-hander before we have the last couple of turns up onto the final pit straight here to tick off another lap here at the Nurburgring GT circuit.
What racing is this track's producing? Great racing tonight. The track's obviously a classic, one of the all-time classics. No runoff, very narrow track, and it really is suiting these GT cars in terms of racing and racecraft on screen.
Yeah, and plenty of passing as well there are, isn't there? Some real heavy braking zones, but it doesn't penalise the passing driver as well too. You know, you can get a big pass done on someone, and you've still got a reasonable amount of racetrack to use on exit, and you can still actually push on and try and get to the next person in front of you. So you will find that, as you said, it's producing some really good racing and some good passing, and it's produced some fantastic races so far. Going down into our last 2 laps of our third race of this evening's race. Zane Hills, 7 seconds in the lead. He's had an absolute stonker tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's so fast. Definitely, like I said before, the class of the field. It'll be interesting to see if he can keep this up throughout the next 2 rounds. Obviously, it's a 3-round series sponsored by Dillon Photography. And actually, just talking about Dillon Photography, I was just on his website before, and wow, does he do some stuff. You know, it's not just automotive stuff, it's also graduation, family, fashion, weddings, corporate. And as a designer myself, I'm actually thinking of calling him up and seeing if he can do some work for me.
Yeah,
fantastic.
He's amazing. As we said, the work that I've sort of been associated with him with our downforce events, and obviously all our Giltrap Group associated brands that he's worked with, and he's an absolute wizard as far as the automotive side of photography goes. But certainly looking at his website there, and you can check that stuff out there as well, team. That's all online, and you can, as Ari said, he's very talent behind the lens, and if you're looking to get a sponsorship proposal done or try and class up stuff like that, he's certainly your man to go to. So, and we will have as we see a big move here, Cameron Freeman nearly outbraking himself into the chicane. We will have a photography package on Trade Me in the next couple of weeks, thanks to Chris, up to the value of $1,200. So sounds like you might be bidding on that, Ari, after looking at his website tonight.
Of course. And if anyone's on their computer right now, which just quickly jump onto dillon.co.nz, and then you can check it out all there. And what an awesome website and great portfolio. But yeah, back to the racing. Zane Hills 8.2 in front now. He's just stretching away. It's not even a race for him, it's just a Sunday drive. Should I say Tuesday drive. But we've got an awesome battle going on. Cameron Freeman's really had some good racing tonight. He's been in the thick of it. He's had a lot of coverage. Again, racing against Ferrari. Nathan Crane in the Ferrari, so it's good to see a Ferrari up there in P5. Nathan's been in the pause a bit. He might be in trouble with the stewards a little bit from doing that right hand down the main straight there last couple of laps, but seems like he's driving nice and clean now. And we've also got Isaac Fletcher there in the I'm just going to say it, Carter's sponsored nags on the Z4 there.
Oh, perfect, mate. Yeah, no, most definitely. He's definitely been into his local Carter's store there, and inspectors his Mercedes AMG up there. So Nathan Krang, obviously, as we said, in the Ferrari. So you can see he carries a lot of speed on entry, but it looks like that actually might be hurting him on exit a little bit. And he's really now he's gone reasonably defensive early on here. So he is a big fan of a double movement in a straight line.
Yeah, I wonder if his driver coach Daniel Bray's watching this and maybe having a look, and they can work on a few things for the up and coming pro kart.
Yeah, obviously Nathan now stepping up into this KZ2 class for Pro Kart Series. So
that's right.
And so full defensive up into the chicane here as well. He's managed to open the corner up. That's going to help him. But Isaac Fletcher's actually got his own battle going on here with Cameron Freeman as well too. So that actually might hurt. That actually might help young Nathan Krang as well too. So we can see Isaac's hurt a little bit by that as we get up onto the last turn. So Cameron Freeman and Nathan Krang, absolute ding-dong battle, and Cameron's actually managed to drop a wheel off. And I'd say he's actually probably ended up facing the wrong way by the look of it. Yeah, we can see Cameron's just gathering himself back up. So down into turn one we go. So obviously Nathan doesn't have to worry about going too defensive that time around. And we're on to our final lap. That race has gone really, really fast. It's over 10.5 seconds is the margin for Zane Hills to Braden Snowden there in P2. Arthur Brown, what a stellar job. We haven't actually seen much of him. He's just been chipping away, minding his own business. And he's got just a little over, just under 2 second margin there to Nathan Anderson. How good would it be to see Nathan there, Arthur there, finish in P3? Really, really well deserved, as we can see. So Nathan Anderson's absolutely got the blowtorch on Arthur, trying to turn him into a chocolate fish and melt him on this last lap. So, but
Here we go.
Keep the eyes forward, Arthur. You can do this, buddy. You can get up into that P3. Just mind yourself as we get up into these turns. Nathan's nice, clean driver, though. We've had some good, clean passes by Nathan tonight. And really good to see Arthur Brown coming away with a good result here. So still running in P3. Keep the eyes forward. And as we get down to our last couple of corners, not many remaining on this final lap here, Ari.
And it's deja vu for Nathan. Let's see if he can pull it off this time. Same pass as what he did last time. Down the inside, over the curb.
Arthur's dropped a wheel off. And that's a convincing third place now for Nathan. So big ups to Arthur Brown there. What a good job he was doing. And that'll drop him to P4 there. So final results there for the evening there, team. Zane Hills taking out our third race of our random grid. So 3 out of 3 for Zane Hills this evening. Braden Snowden there in P2. Really good job by the Whangarei driver there. So that's 2 second positions for him, 2 races in a row. Nathan Anderson making his way through the grid 3 from a dominant performance from our previous series last week. Arthur Brown in 4. Nathan Krang P5 and Isaac Fletcher rounding out our top 6. So 3 absolute stellar races tonight are really action-packed. As we said, Nurburgring GP circuit providing some brilliant racing tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this track is great. I mean, obviously Monza last time I was commentating, and now seeing Nurburgring is a step up again. But obviously it's round 1 of a three-round championship, so consistency is going to be the key. And obviously Zane Hills is taking this car to a really good start here, and also a good showing from Anderson as well, Krang and Isaac Fletcher. So some really good guys who are of even pace in that mid-pack, which is making for some really good racing, and I look forward to watching it throughout the next 2 rounds.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously we're sort of doing a bi-weekly competition now, so we'll obviously have a break next Tuesday and then kick off again the following Tuesday. So this is going to run over a 6-week program, so which is good. Gives everyone a chance to do a little bit of testing on the. Obviously, Travis Smith, who drives all this, he'll be running some practice nights on those other Tuesdays, and going from there. So our next race will be coming from Watkins Glen, obviously still in GT3, but that concludes night 1 of the Dillon Photography 3-round series. So as we said, big thanks to Chris Dillon from Dillon Photography for his kind support. Support those who support us, their team, and obviously our usual partners, Giltrap Group and Carter's Tyres. So great evening of racing there, Ari. Thanks for joining us again.
That was great.
And,
It's great to be a part of again. Thank you.
No problems. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and look forward to Watkins Glen in 2 weeks' time. Once again, thanks to all our drivers, all of our families for supporting the KartSport events, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Thanks very much, and good evening.
This is fantastic. This is GT racing right now. He's got traction. He's got with the outside. Both of them. Maloney. Oh, he's taken Anderson. Anderson's up to here. Oh my God. Oh, big crash. Oh my goodness. Half the field's going to get involved.
It's very close. These guys are going to want to make their way through the field very quickly. Oh, here we go. Oh no. That's massive. This is it. This is over. I can't believe this. Oh my God.
God, what?